We are renovating our kitchen and we need to meal prep. As you may know, we have been working on renovating our kitchen. We are going to be painting these cabinets. We are going to be working on sanding and all sorts of things in this kitchen. So I need to be out of this kitchen by this weekend. The way I'm going to do this is we have to meal prep for all of the meals that we're going to have for this weekend so we can work on the kitchen. I will be planning on meal prepping hopefully a few breakfasts, some lunches, and dinners for everybody here in our household. I have a list of items that I have planned to make. I am so excited to have this kitchen renovated. I can't wait to show you what it looks like at the end. It's gonna look really different, and I'm just so excited. So let's get in the kitchen and let's cook.
To start, let's cook some chickpeas. We have some soaked chickpeas that we're going to boil until done.
I have a list of vegetables here that I'm going to hand over to one of the small ones to help me gather so we can just wash them all at the same time so we can get all of the chopping done.
To prep our vegetables, I have filled up our kitchen sink with some water and I have a veggie wash that we use. I will have a link in the description of the veggie wash that we use. We love this. We buy it in bulk and we're going to make sure that all of the vegetables are washed all at the same time so it's all ready to go once we're ready to chop. Honestly, if you don't have a veggie wash, you can go ahead and just use some vinegar. I just prefer not to use vinegar because it can leave sort of a sour vinegary taste to our vegetables, and so I just like to use our veggie wash. I have Grace helping me wash some of the greens that we're going to use later on, and I am just going to start preparing all of the vegetables. I started chopping some sweet potatoes, some cauliflower here. I am planning to chop all of the vegetables needed for the day, so the mise en place is all ready to go. Now, I don't normally do this, but I found that this actually really does help, just chopping all of the vegetables at once. So I'm going to continue to do this in the future.
Right now, as you can see, I have a ton of vegetables here prepped. I have like zucchinis and peppers. I have carrots, celery, some cauliflower chopped up, some sweet potatoes, which I'm going to roast up for some burritos. And I want to make sure that when I'm chopping, I may as well chop up a bunch of vegetables that we need. So I'm going to continue to work on this, and I will put everything together very soon. I have a casserole dish here that I'm going to make sort of a potato vegetable gratin. So I have some zucchinis going in here. I usually just make a potato gratin, but today I'm gonna make it more of a full meal so I can serve this up to my husband. Get out of here. I have a full meal here in one casserole dish, so that'll be done for one meal. Just get some squash going in. I chopped up some onions that went in here as well, and I'm now going to do some broccoli. Whew, my eyes. I have a few onions here chopped up, and it's making me tear. Typically when I do a meal prep, I like to just cook whatever I want, but this time it's a little bit more strategic because I have to make sure we have lunch, we have dinners for my husband. Usually when we do meal prep, it's always just for myself and the kids. I like to cook things fresh for my husband every day, so it's a little bit more strategic this time. I am going to prep some lettuce leaves and things like that in Ziploc bags so we can have that ready to go for his salads this weekend. I'm going to do some red potatoes in here as well.
After all of the vegetables are chopped up, I want to season the vegetables 2 times just because I want to make sure the seasonings do penetrate into all of the vegetables. So I have some Italian seasoning, or onion powder, some smoked paprika, and some salt. We're going to hand mix it and then do it one more time with the same seasonings.
I have some cauliflower boiling here just for the gratin sauce. It's actually very easy to make, so I'm going to boil this and then we will blend it up into sort of like a sauce, a thick consistency, and then pour it into the vegetables for the casserole.
While that is boiling up for the gratin, I am going to season up our sweet potatoes for some black bean and sweet potato burritos. So I have some usual suspects of seasoning, some salt, Italian seasoning, some onion powder, and smoked paprika just to make things easy. I'm going to roast this up for about 20-30 minutes. By this time, our chickpeas have been cooking for about an hour or so, and they are nice and tender. I boiled the cauliflower until it's nice and soft as well, so I have some onion powder going in here. I did have to drain some of the water, and then we're going to salt it, of course, and then blend it up. You can add some nutritional yeast if you want to make it a little bit cheesy, but I just kind of left it as is, just with some salt and onion powder for some umami. And this sauce is ready to go into the gratin.
All I'm going to do is put the sauce, the cauliflower, it's a nice and creamy sauce, into the potatoes and the vegetables, and then we will roast this up and make it a delicious casserole.
When doing this, you can use any type of vegetables you want, and I'm going to layer the sauce, kind of zhuzh it up with my fork just to make sure all of the sauce is in between all of the vegetables, just to make sure there's nice and even sauce to vegetable mixture. I'm just going to garnish it with a little bit of smoked paprika for some color. By now the sweet potatoes were nice and tender, so that's done. I took them out and I put the gratin in.
Next thing I'm going to be working on is sort of a chickpea menudo. I like to call it a menudo because it reminds me of the hominy texture in there, so it's kind of like a chickpea soup. And then we can, once it's done, we can serve it up with some limes and red onions and cilantro. It's really, really, really good. So in this pot, I have a lot of my vegetables already prepped, so I'm just going to put them in here and then let it cook. Some onions, some bell peppers going in. I know this may not be traditional, but I'm just going to put some carrots and celery because why not? Just some extra vegetables. I already have them chopped. So I'm just going to add some grapeseed oil, a little salt. And we're going to let this kind of just cook down, and I'm going to prepare some tomatoes, and I have the chickpeas ready to go in there.
This soup is going to be for Trey, so I like to use fresh vegetables whenever I can, but you can absolutely use some crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes if you have.
Then I have some really freshly cooked chickpeas. I just cooked this today. I'm going to put some into my menudo. Honestly, I've never had a real menudo before, but in theory, this is what it is. So I just call it menudo. I don't know what to call it. A chickpea soup, whatever it is. Let me just put some in here. And then I'm going to put some seasonings like some cumin, smoked paprika, ancho chili powder, things like that. So let me put that in here. Now I probably should have kind of caramelized the onions and things like that. I don't really have that much time, so I'm just going to do what I can, and we're going to simmer this low and slow in the background. Oh, I forgot I need to add some water, so let me just cook this down for a little bit, for maybe like 2-3 minutes, and then we will put the water in.
Don't forget to season with salt. Add water just to cover about 2-3 centimeters above the vegetables, and we're going to cook it in the background.
On the side here, I'm going to just prep some baked potatoes because this can warm up really, really easy. And if we make any baked beans and stuff like that, we can put them on here, or greens. It would be great on here. So I'm going to roast these. Grace, come salt and oil, and then we're going to put them in the oven. On the side here, I'm actually going to chop up some vegetables for this weekend. So when we are ready to cook them or put them in the oven, I have everything already prepped. All right, so we have the menudo soup in the background. We already have the gratin, which actually I'm going to take out right now. Let me just check it really quick. Here is the gratin. It is still bubbly. I think it is ready. I cooked it at 400 degrees for about, I think I set the timer for 30 minutes. It looks like it's ready, so I think I'm going to just let it cool, and we can just put this in the fridge. We're now going to start working on some burritos. I have some baked potatoes going down, and what's next? Oh, I have to just prep some vegetables, chop them, put them in a Ziploc bag, and put them in the fridge. I just tested the gratin, and it looks like I need a little bit more, so I'm going to put it back in for another 20 minutes or so, just until everything is like super duper nice and soft and tender.
For the veggie prep, we are just chopping up some cauliflower and broccoli in here, and then we are going to season it up. As soon as I can break down this cauliflower, my goodness. So we're basically just going to marinate these vegetables in the fridge until we are ready to cook.
We have a Ziploc bag full of vegetables here, which is very easy to just roast up. So I'm gonna season this and we're gonna let it sit in the fridge. And when it's ready, my plan is to actually use the grill this weekend since we can't use the oven to make these vegetables. So here, hold that up. I'm gonna add some, put it right here. Okay, let's just add a little bit of oil, some paprika, salt, that. And then we're gonna season it one more time on the other side.
We closed the bag and we shook it as much as possible. We were even playing catch and just to try to get these vegetables as mixed up as possible. Then we're going to season it one more time just to make sure all of the seasonings are in all of the crevices as much as possible.
Okay.
Sauce.
Put it all inside, Grace. Here, get it all. All the vegetables are nice and seasoned, and then this is just gonna go straight into the fridge. And once we're ready to cook it, it is ready to go.
Hemp sauce.
No.
Potato casserole.
Yes.
Chickpea Mudo.
Yes.
Potato soup.
Potato soup, no.
Sweet potato.
Burritos, we're about to do that right now. Okay, next thing I'm going to be making is a baked beans, which is not baked. It's going to be a stovetop baked beans. We're going to just make sort of a sweet tomatoey sauce, and we're going to put some beans in it, and that'll be our baked beans without bacon. All right, I'm going to put some grapeseed oil in here. I'm going to use a can of tomato paste. You don't have to. You can just use like a tomato sauce even if you want it a little bit more watery, or you can use crushed tomatoes. I'm probably going to use maybe like half of this, and then I'll have probably like a whole can of this. So in goes my can of crushed tomatoes. This is a large 28-ounce can. We're going to kind of cook this down with our onions. You can add some smoked paprika in this. You don't have to. I am going to because I like the smokiness, and maybe some ancho chili. So I have about maybe a tablespoon and a half of smoked paprika. I like to use this brand for any smokiness. I don't like to use like liquid smoke and anything like that. So I just go with an ancho chili. We love this one. I'll put the same amount, maybe like a tablespoon and a half. I'm gonna add about, I don't know, a few dashes of garlic powder and some onion powder, maybe about a teaspoon's worth. I like onion powder, so I'm gonna put like about 3 teaspoons, and some salt. So usually I do like to sort of warm up the spices in the oil, but today I didn't. I'm gonna see how it turns out like this. In fact, you know what? Today I'm not even gonna put the tomato paste just because I kind of like this consistency. We're gonna add about half a cup or so of water, maybe 3/4 of a cup of water. Add your sweetener. This comes together really, really quickly. I'm gonna add 1 cup of sugar. This is just coconut sugar. We like to use the organic coconut sugar. So 1 cup of that goes in. You can sweeten this with some agave if you want to. I just have some coconut sugar on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. And then we're just going to simmer this until it is nice and done. I'll give it about a minute or so, and then I'm going to add some pinto beans in this. You can use any beans you like, some cannellini beans, Great Northern beans, anything that you like or have on hand. For a touch of that smoky spiciness, I'm going to use some chipotle chili powder. Just a splash. And now it's just ready for the beans. I have some cannellini beans and some pinto beans, so I will just use these 2. I think I'm going to need a little bit more beans. I like to have sort of a good ratio of beans to sauce, so I think I'll have 1 more can of beans. I underestimated how much sauce this makes, so I put about 4 cans. You can put an extra can of beans if you want to. I drained it, I rinsed it, and then I just put it into the sauce, and I'm gonna let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and it should be done. It tastes delicious, the sauce tastes delicious. You just wanna make sure the sauce kind of penetrates the beans, and we are all good to go. Baked beans without baking them. Cool. We are on to making burritos now. So in order to make this very, very easy, we are going to use this big old bowl. We're gonna mix all of our ingredients on the inside of the burritos in this, and then we're gonna mix it up. So I have some taco rice casserole here that I made as meal prep a while ago, which we had for dinner. So we're gonna add this into the bowl. It's got a bunch of taco seasonings and all sorts of delicious flavors. So we're just gonna add some black beans and the sweet potatoes, which we chopped up and roasted just this morning. Ready, so we have a big, huge bowl of taco filling in here, or burrito filling in here. We're not making no tacos. And then we're just gonna mix it up and fill up our really large, we like to use the extra large burrito, what is this called? Burrito shells, burrito flour tortillas. We're gonna fill up the flour tortillas with this mix, and we are good to go with making our burritos. Now you can definitely use some salsa if you want to. I don't have any, so we're just going to do just the filling, and it's still gonna be delicious. I think I'm gonna chop up some lettuce for this as well, just to add some extra greens. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. If you have some guacamole, this would be great as well.
You don't need instructions to fill up a burrito, but I like to start off with the lettuce. We're going to add some of the filling, and then we have some leftover gratin sauce, which we have used as well. We're sealing it up on a griddle so then it's nice and sealed.
I need to make a dinner and lunch for Trey, so I have some potatoes and some greens that I'm going to make. I think I'm going to make a curry type of soup here. So I have some onions, peppers, carrots, celery. I know that's not traditional curry, but we're going to season it with some curry seasonings. So I have some salt, I have some tomatoes going in here. Let's just sort of melt the vegetables down a little bit before I add the potatoes and the greens. I want to make sure that it's caramelized nicely. Add a little bit of grapeseed oil. And let's just get the juices flowing in here. I think I changed my mind. Because this looks so nice and tomatoey, I think a potato and tomato with some of this chard and greens would be a good soup. So that's what I'm going to do instead. Now we just have some greens, we have some collards and Swiss chard. I'm going to chop up a few of them, and we're going to put it in the soup as well. We love incorporating collards and things like that in the soups because it just kind of breaks down and it cooks into the soup. It's really, really, really good. So we're going to do that right now.
If you're not a fan of greens, I highly suggest you put it in a soup because it really does melt in the soup and it feels like it's not there.
Alrighty, so I have onion powder going in, smoked paprika, cumin, just a little touch. Once this cooks down a little bit, I'm just going to add the water, and we're going to cook it basically all night so it's ready to go for later on. Okay, not all night. We're going to cook it all afternoon. Maybe until 5. Maybe I'll just give it like an hour. We're going to add the water and the soup, ready to go for dinner. I'm finally sitting down for a little bit of lunch. We've been cooking all morning. I am eating a little bit of the orzo salad and some tofu. I have a few more things to prep, I think, but for the majority, I have definitely made a lot of food and a lot of prep. We're making good timing. But yeah, I'm in my corner, sitting down having lunch. I'm taking a little itty bitty break. We are making a spaghetti sauce here. It's just got some onions, some carrots. I ran out of celery, so I'm just going to be using some carrots, some onions, some zucchinis in here. We're going to make a very, very simple spaghetti sauce, and we're going to make a baked spaghetti. We're going to put some spaghetti in here, put it in a Tupperware, and then we're just going to leave it. We will bake it when it is time to.
To make the sauce so easy, we added some vegetables. I added a full can of crushed tomatoes and some tomato paste just to richen that tomatoey sauce as fast as possible.
Now, as much as I want to simmer this sauce for like a long, long time, I don't have the time because I have to do other things. So I'm gonna simmer this for like 5 minutes, and then we're just going to put it into our spaghetti and then put the casserole together. The sauce is ready and the pasta is ready as well. I did cook it less than al dente because I want to make sure that it's not overcooked. I've saved some pasta water here because I want to make sure we have enough liquids to cook the rest of the pasta. So let me just put some pasta in here and mix it up. We could probably make 2 of them, so let me just get some pasta. Actually, let's start with the sauce. Put some of the spaghetti. Add some pasta water, and then we're going to just rinse and repeat and get this all in. I got this for free with a coupon, so of course I'm not going to say no to free stuff. So we're going to use some of this on our spaghetti. We usually don't buy this stuff because it's more processed, but this is just a treat. It was free. So I'm going to try to make 1 more casserole with the rest of it. I hope I have enough sauce for 2 of them, so let's hope.
If you'd like to, you can definitely make sort of a cheesy sauce to layer with this. It's going to be kind of like a lasagna spaghetti bake, which would be really, really good too. On the second casserole, I did add some nutritional yeast on top. And here you go. This is our spread, guys. How do you think we did? I think we did pretty good. We have a lot of food prepped.
This is our meal prep. We have some soup, potato soup that we are going to be having some for dinner. Maybe I'll freeze it for later on. We have a chickpea menudo type of soup. We have some baked potatoes, baked russet potatoes. We have this really delicious casserole that's going to be for Trey's dinner one night. We have some cooked chickpeas, which we can really use on anything. Some baked beans, which we can use for lunch, or if we have breakfast, like it would be great for beans on toast. We have some prepped vegetables because I plan to try to use our grill outside to cook, and we'll see how that works. So we have some bell peppers and onions. We have some marinated cauliflower and broccoli in here, and some beets ready to go. We have 2 pans of baked spaghetti. One is going to be for dinner tonight, and then one is going to be for lunches, dinners, and things like that. We have some burritos here. We also have more prepped vegetables. We just have some collard greens and things like that, which I plan on cooking. We'll see what happens when we cook outside in the grill. I am not a griller. Trey is, so I will probably need his help. But yeah, this is our meal plan. I hope that this is going to be a successful meal prep for our weekend as we do our sanding and painting and all sorts of things in the kitchen. We are not going to be allowed in the kitchen this weekend. Hopefully, we will make do with what we have prepped. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed spending time with us in the kitchen. Hopefully you have a few extra inspiration to meal prep on your own. Subscribe if you're new. We will see you on the next video. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Why are you making faces?